What's going on, Jerome's? So the number one question for the Vikings this week was who was going to be under center starting against the Las Vegas Raiders, and hopefully throwing about a dozen targets to Justin freaking Jefferson, who's 110% with that hamstring. But head coach Kevin O'Connell fed the local media jackals on Wednesday, the first day of practice, getting ready for the Raiders, and it's going to be Josh Dobbs. Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gershman. The Vikings are sticking with Josh Dobbs for at least one more week. He'll start Sunday at the Raiders, and we'll get to see what he can do with Justin Jefferson back in the lineup. Kevin O'Connell said the goal of the coaching staff this week is to utilize a scheme that can help Josh thrive. Nick Mullins will be available, as will Jaron Hall. And O'Connell kind of inferred that it would be Nick Mullins as QB2 and Jaron Hall as the emergency QB3, but that remains to be seen. But we've seen the high highs with Josh Dobbs, right? The whole Pastronaut phenomena was fantastic, and you've seen that he certainly can play at a high level. Of course, the NFC Offensive Player of the Week for his role in the comeback win against the Falcons, and Josh Dobbs mania were certainly there, and it was a lot of fun, right? And after thinking about it, like that seemed like the most logical way for the Vikings to go forward. I mean, Nick Mullins is a veteran who started before, with the Niners, the Browns, and the Raiders, and Jaron Hall is a guy who was drafted and played well for his two drives, one key drive against the Falcons. But I mean, Dobbs, the Vikings got to gamble. And the Vikings have to get something going on offense, and turnovers have been murder on this team. And frankly, turnovers are the reason why the Vikings have lost each of their 6 games. I mean, the Vikings lost a turnover battle, and it's especially been maddening the last 2 games where we point out ad nauseum 7 turnovers, including 4 interceptions against the Bears. And yeah, some of them were tipped, but also Dobbs threw about 6 or 7 poor passes against Chicago, and 7 turnovers, and he lost both games by a combined 3 points. It's been rough, man. But if Josh Dobbs can get back to taking care of the football and be the passionate, I mean, that's what the Vikings need. And with Jefferson back in the lineup, I think that certainly adds another dimension. Now, Josh Dobbs, he's been a career backup, maybe for a reason, but if he can settle down and just distribute the football as opposed to taking, risky chances, and I don't know, where I want to believe Kevin O'Connell. I really want to believe him when he says he's going to utilize a scheme that can help Josh thrive. And Wes Phillips talked about it too, is that they had time over the bye week to really internalize what's been going on with the offense, because honestly, the offensive game plan against the Bears was probably the worst thing that they could have possibly done with Josh Dobbs. They had him in the pocket. Yes, the Bears were playing to keep him in the pocket, but there was no design runs, no RPOs, no read options, no movement at all. Basically, it was like a preseason version of what they would have used with Nick Mullins or Kirk Cousins if he had played in preseason. They're just trying to make Josh Dobbs a pocket passer, and that's not what he is. What he is, he's very dangerous with the legs. It puts a lot of stress on the defense, and making plays off script, sort of schoolyard football. That's exactly how the Vikings won the Falcons game and how they look so damn good in the first half against the Saints. And O'Connell needs to realize that. Because you can't make Josh Dobbs into what he's not. He is not a pocket passer, so utilize what he is good at. Use his legs and get creative. Don't use him as a pitchback with Hockenson at quarterback. Knock that ish off. But there's lots of ways that Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips can maximize the upside of Josh Dobbs and try to minimize his downside. And also, it's important to note that O'Connell only named him the starter for the Raiders game. He didn't name him the starter for the rest of the year. So I think that Dobbs, sort of like we predicted, is going to be on a short hook, where if he continues to make mental mistakes, not carry the football, turfs it, and then I think that he will be replaced. And as the Vikings are rolling through this final stretch, I mean, the Vikings, at minimum, they got to go 3-2. And it all starts with the Raiders game. So you're off the bye. You got the bad taste in your mouth from the Broncos and the Bears game. Go out to the Raiders and just completely lay waste. And again, we've seen the peaks with Josh Dobbs, and hopefully he can get back to a part of that. And also having Jefferson there is going to be a big factor. And also, if Kevin O'Connell is actually true to his word that he's going to cater a scheme to Josh Dobbs, I think the Vikings can get back to being very dangerous down the stretch and into the playoffs. But we'll see. One game at a time. But again, I'm glad that they named the starter on Wednesday. Dobbs can get all the first-team practice reps that he can these next 3 days of practice, and there's no doubts. And you've seen coaching staffs before. Oh, I don't know who's going to start. No. It's Dobbs' team right now, and he knows he has to play well. He knows that 8 turnovers over 4 games is inexcusable. So take care of the football, distribute Brock Purdy style to your playmakers, and also make some plays with your legs. And when it's there, run. And you've seen Dobbs, like, sometimes running lanes are there, and he's just like, I'm going to throw because I got to prove that I'm a passer. Otherwise, I'm not going to get paid this offseason. Take what's there. You never go broke by taking a profit. So we'll see. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Head coach Kevin McCollum names Josh Dobbs starting quarterback against the Raiders. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But next time, Skull Production Valley.